Good evening and welcome back to Caped Crusader Chris. As always, I'm Caped Crusader Chris, and today I finally started Batman Caped Crusader. So, season 1 came out in 2024, and my brother and we rewatched it so many times. I think we binged it the day it came out, and then I rewatched it several times all the way through. I really love this take on Batman, brought to us by Bruce Timm, produced by J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves. I don't know, is Ed Brubaker still on the series? I know he was in season 1. I don't know if I saw his name in the credits. I have to check again. But for this, I'm just going to be reviewing episode 1, which is titled Brute Force. And this episode just it doesn't even wait. It just takes you right into the action. And we get introduced to a plethora of characters that were not in season 1. And I'm just gonna go through the things that I really enjoyed. And Hamish Linklater, the voice of Batman Bruce Wayne, of course, I think he's done a phenomenal job. And you know he has this eeriness to him that I think every Batman actor should have. He's in a show on Netflix called, I think it's called Midnight Mass. I watched the whole season. It's really good. And in this episode, it just takes us right into a bank robbery, led to us by Edward Enigma, of course, Riddler. And this is a very different take. Ed Enigma, he's a gangster. There has been different iterations of Riddler over the many decades of him. But for this Caped Crusader case, I think it fits very well. He hasn't really done any riddles. I don't think he did in this episode, not that I remember. There was another character doing riddles, and we'll get to him a little later. But like I mentioned, we get mentioned to Eddie Enigma. He's robbing a bank, and Batman, of course, is trying to stop him. We get introduced to Caped Crusader's version of Tetch, Hattie Tetch. She is the Mad Hatter. She's a broadcast host. She hosts a show and she does, I'm assuming, gossip talk, news coverage, but she's biased towards the unruly in Gotham City, and that's not surprising. And the backstory of episode 1, Brute Force, is that, of course, we have Batman doing what he can to keep the city clean. We have Rupert Thorne. If you remember the end of season 1, Batman sent him a threat. The threat got followed through. Rupert's in prison, but it's not really prison. It's more so a hotel with bars, because he's able to pull strings and he has a lot of the guards on his payroll. And it's just classic Gotham City. You have high rollers, you have gangsters, you have gossipers who like to spread these catty news from their perspective, being Tetch, being Riddler, and then we have Rupert Thorne. And it's like we went right in where we left off last season, where it feels like the city is just mounting up against Batman, even those who are on his side. And we'll get through other characters that we see. This really surprised me. Of course, excuse me, we see Flash and we see Bullock. Flash shot Commissioner Gordon, but Flash is still a detective, and Bullock is a beat cop now. And I wish both of them were no longer on the force, especially this version of Flash and Bullock. I think Bullock is really horrible in this show in terms of his personality. He's voiced by John Domingo, great actor, voice actor as well. And then, of course, we pick a right with some of my favorite characters: Renee Montoya, James Gordon, and we see that James Gordon, Commissioner Jim Gordon, Commissioner Jim Gordon, he's doing what he can to help get this case on Rupert Thorne, to get him put behind bars, because there's a rat from the Rupert Thorne gang who ends up being Calendar Man. So we have a Calendar Man in this episode as well. We got a Mad Hatter, we got Riddler, and we have Calendar Man as well as a boss in Rupert Thorne. And what I think this show balances, it balances their personalities very well, and how they're being portrayed in this show. They're characters that originally, or like in different iterations, they're just over the top goofy, which I love. In this world, they're more tamed in terms of over the top personalities, but they still have their characteristics of being evil, of just not being good people. And I think what Bruce Timm and the rest of the team, what they're able to do, is it has that BTAS feel that we all know and love. I love BTAS. It's my favorite animated show, if not one of my favorite animated shows of all time, with other Batman animated shows. But Caped Crusader, I think, is doing a great job. So there's two big action sequences in this episode. Calendar Man is so Barbara, Jim, they're trying to protect Calendar Man so that he can testify against Rupert Thorne. Rupert Thorne sends Eddie and a bunch of gangsters to go after Calendar Man, and this show is 10 times more violent than season one, and this is just episode one. Amazon got the notice that season one was being produced and was going to get distributed on another streaming service, or it was going to be distributed on a Cartoon Network at the time, I believe, from what my brother told me. And season two is being produced with them knowing that it's going to be on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has Invincible, it has The Boys, it has all these raunchy, more graphic, mature, not necessarily more mature, but more graphic comic book shows, and Caped Crusader's not shying away from that. Okay, we're not watching Terrifier, we're not even watching Invincible, but they're showing these people the bullet hit their head. We're seeing them. We don't see this actually happen, but we see this person get torn to shreds by a propeller on a helicopter or on a plane. It is fascinating how gruesome some of these kills are in this episode, and Batman's doing what he can to save those he needs to protect. Calendar Man he gets away safe with Barbara, Jim, and now Riddler, he's desperate. He doesn't know what to do. He needs to go get this guy. He needs to stop Batman. So he goes and visits another fellow stranger, and that is Hugo Strange. So now that's what our fourth or fifth villain that we've been introduced that we didn't see at all in season one. And I love that. I just think it's fascinating on how they're balancing these characters, how they're intertwining them, and now that was the first action sequence. This is going to be the second action sequence, and this is so fascinating. It was, at first I thought, is that Solomon Grundy? It's not Solomon Grundy. It's Mark Desmond, who was a goon for Riddler, who ends up turning into from a character named Blockbuster. Not too familiar with Blockbuster, but I did some research, and he, in Caped Crusader, he's just a Solomon Grundy type hulking character. And we see this amazing fight sequence that takes place in this safe house with Batman and Blockbuster, and they're going through levels. It reminds me of like these big action fight scenes that I've seen on the big screen. And this had my jaw drop. Batman stops him by hitting him over a dozen times with the Batmobile, and Batman's not holding back. Batman's going to do what he has to do to stop this guy from wreaking more havoc in Gotham City. He needs to protect Calendar Man so they can get Rupert Thorne thrown behind bars permanently. And Batman's doing what he can do. And you can just see like the viciousness of this version of Batman and what he's willing to do to stop, these criminals and these monsters and things of that sort. So I think episode one is doing a good job at balancing the quiet moments whenever you get introduced to a character like Hugo Strange, when you get reintroduced into Barbara Gordon and how she's handling things in Gotham, and then these chaotic moments with Blockbuster, with Riddler, and these giant fight scenes that feel so cinematic, but they're being produced, for a television show. I love it. We wrap up the episode with the trial of Rupert Thorne. No surprise, the judge is paid off by Rupert, and Rupert gets off. The case gets dismissed, and Batman is not feeling too well about this. He's doing whatever he can to protect this city, and of course Gotham City is winning. But Gotham City also has other monsters bigger than Rupert Thorne, and we get introduced to the Joker, who we saw at the end of season one. And this Joker, we've only seen him for 30 seconds in episode one, and he's already have a lasting impact. He doesn't laugh. He's very serious. Nothing's funny to him. I love it. So of course we're gonna see more of Joker throughout the season. I've only seen episode one. I have seen episode two, so my reviews that one is gonna be out either tomorrow or the day after because I wanna watch this whole show. I'm gonna watch this whole show. Uh, and the episode ends with the classic meeting between Jim and Bat on the rooftop of GCPD, orchestrated by Barba because the whole episode Jim and Batman have been ignoring each other. They don't want to talk to each other because they just don't feel comfortable working with each other, even though they're not going after, each other. But yeah, overall, I think this episode is a solid beginning for season two of Cape Crusader. It just punches you right in the face. It just runs. It just goes. And then it gives you moments throughout the episode to let it breathe and let the world building continue in Gotham City. So overall, I think this is a solid episode, a solid start. I can't wait for the rest of the season for Batman Caped Crusader. But like I mentioned, I'm gonna take my time watching the whole season. My brother and we binged season one in a day. This time, I want to take like a week or so to sort of just take in every episode. I want to do my reviews. I want to talk about them, and I just want to just soak them in. So, yeah, solid episode, and I can't wait to see more. So, yeah, guys, if you've seen episode one of Cape Crusader, let me know, what do you think of this episode, and what do you think of the iterations of these villains for this series. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate the support. As always, I'm Cape Crusader Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.